The comparison you didn't think you needed. The 2023 BMW X7 40i, 2023 Land Rover Defender 130. And today, we're gonna compare to these two. So, let's roll. Why compare to these two? Simply, both are three-row SUVs and probably they compete for the same market. Special thanks for this video goes to our great friends at Bud's JLR. They were kind enough to allow us to borrow this beauty over here for today's video, test drive it and show you what it's all about, and of course, how it compares to the BMW X7. And most importantly, to our good friend Mark, who was kind enough to arrange this thing here, get it nice and clean for today's video. If you need to know more about them, the link will be in the description below, in case if you want to take this for a test drive. Meanwhile, that beauty over there, that's from BMW Canada. Let us begin with the exterior. Front end, the BMW, more aggressive look, more sporty at the same time. For 2023, we got some changes over here. For example, split headlights, daylight running lights, main headlights at the top. We got no fog lights at the bottom. The grille over here is illuminated at night so that you know this is a BMW if they're coming behind you on the left lane. Love the sporty design. This doesn't have the M Performance package. You can add that. It gives it a more sporty look with the M theme. Now let's talk about the Defender. The Defender here looks like it's ready to take over any road. It is more off-road style. We have a two-tone paint. This is the Gondwana Stone. That's the paint color. Meanwhile, on this side, we have the copper metallic for the BMW X7. Love how this thing looks. Very aggressive, but more off-road focused. Like for example, fog lights at the bottom. There is the washer for the headlights. Headlights are one piece, but with the little differences on the inside. And we have this massive Defender badge at the front. You can also add different packages for the exterior design, similar to the BMW. For example, this can get the Explorer package, which offers you different exterior parts. Like for example, the fender look a little bit different. We have the storage unit on the left side. Beautiful design. Now let's talk about the back side, and let's start first with the Defender. That theme continues the backside of the Defender. We have the spare tire here, which is a signature to the Defender. We got the tow hooks in case if you get stuck somewhere. This is why this thing is designed for a bit more off-road. And if you look carefully, the tailgate is not at the same way as the BMW. Is manually open, and it gives you full access to the third and second row from here, which I absolutely love that. That's where this thing is different in comparison to the X7. The X7 looks like your standard three-row SUV. In fact, it looks like an X5 in some ways. The tailgate is power, but if you know BMW, they offer a split tailgate. What does that mean? Well, you got two options. You can open the top part or the bottom part. That way, it gives you access to the entire cargo area. This, it comes very handy. Why? Because maybe you can park by some place where you can start fishing a little bit. You go camping, you have a beer while not driving. Beautiful added feature, and most importantly, this adds more features onto the side for the second row, so you can control everything from here automatically. Absolutely love that, but then again, that takes a bit of time while you're pressing buttons, everything to fold. And you can also do a maxed out. What does that mean? It folds all the seats at the same time, so that way you have access to the entire cargo area. Now, in terms of space overall, the BMW does give you more cargo space in comparison to the Defender, but it's only a small difference, just something that you need to know. Into the second row, let's talk about the X7. First of all, when you come in, you're welcomed by these amazing seats. They're so luxurious, and you can tell the difference. You're sitting in a very high luxury vehicle. Like the leather feels beautiful, feels nice when you touch it. All the little stitches around it. We have these headrests with the little cushions in there, a nice little touch. We have heated seats, climate unit in the center. Now here's the interesting part about the X7. Second row and third row is powered. Yes, you have switches on the side here on the panel that you can control. The third row, you can fold them automatically. The same thing for the second row. They open and close automatically. They move forward automatically, and when the seat in the back moves, before that happens, the front seat moves first, so that way gives you access to the third row or move the seats in the second row forward. So the entire system is powered. On the right side here for the passenger on the door panel, we have buttons for the sunshades because these are powered. The same thing for the main sunroof, which it is, of course, massive panoramic roof all the way through. And it doesn't end there because BMW offers a third sunroof in the third row, so that way you get full brightness and light inside. I love the interior of this, and you can tell it feels more luxurious than you would think in most cars, especially in comparison to the Defender. Because the Defender is slightly higher off the ground, you have this handle onto the side to get into the second row, and so you just lock the door. It has a two-tone interior, which I absolutely love. But one thing you notice in here is so much roomier than the X7. The roof is so much higher, it gives you more headroom, feels more spacious. Second row is not powered, so you have to do everything manually. Same thing with the third row. But the good news is that similar to the BMW, you also get a third panoramic roof in the back, which is nice. Space-wise, you can tell I'm nice and comfortable. I'm sitting very low here. In the BMW, it's more like a theater style, so the second row you're sitting higher. We have a climate unit here, dual, heated seats all the way around. Nothing else that you'd need, basically, in comparison to the BMW. It has those fancy buttons everywhere. The leather feels nice, the stitching is nice, the two-tone is perfect. You got a beautiful panoramic roof all the way across. But one thing I noticed here is that the panoramic roof is smaller in comparison to the X7. Now let's talk about the space in the third row. Getting into the third row for the Defender is slightly harder for me, that I'm 6'2" in comparison to the BMW. It gives you a bit more space to get into the third row. But overall, the space when you sit, I think the Defender has slightly more space, leg room for someone my height. Now, third row SUVs, in this case, the third row is not the most useful feature. But in the Defender is that you get 8 seats in comparison to the BMW, where you can get 6 or 7. 6 meaning captain chair. The one that we have for today's video has 7. The Defender gives you up to 8 seats. Before you get into the first row, on the side here it has a door handle, so you can grab onto it, get into the car, and here we go. The annoying beeping won't stop right away. Now it does. The first thing you notice is that this thing is designed very different in comparison to other SUVs. For example, it is more rugged but yet luxurious at the same time. A great combination. The good news is that if you have kids or if you go to the countryside, guess what? This thing has rubber mats all around so that you can actually wash it. You don't have to worry about getting anything wet or doing any damages to the car, because technically this is designed to go in pretty deep areas when it comes to water. Next thing, we want to talk about the difference between the two cars and the things that one offers the other one doesn't. For example, you get this rear view mirror camera, which I absolutely love in this Defender, and it's probably available in other JLR cars. It has a digital cluster, smaller screen in comparison to the BMW, but it does the job very well. In fact, the transmission here, it is pretty much the same as the one in the BMW. Even the actual gear level is the same as the one in the BMW, the previous model, where you put it into sport. If you want to put it into park, you press it again and it goes into that side. The other thing that you don't get in the BMW is this cooler in the center with 2 levels. So let's just say you have a bottle of water, you go somewhere, you shove everything in here, and you're good to go. It's a nice box, nice touch. Wireless charging pad as well. You also get more space overall in here. For example, underneath the center area, you get more space. There's more space on the dashboard, behind the actual screen as well. We have a heads-up display, premium audio system. Now let's get into the actual screen here, because that's where the difference starts. The Defender is designed for off-road, and you get a lot of features. So for example, the driving modes are, well, different in comparison to the BMW. We have different driving modes. So for example, we start from comfort, We have grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand, you have rock crawl, and then we have weights. Now weight is important because it will tell you the level of the water when you're driving through, and then you can configure it to your own needs. It is designed that way. Even the actual camera, it shows you quite a lot of features. So for example, you have it in 3D mode, but there's also an off-road version of it that shows you each side, and you can lock the axles in here in comparison to the BMW. This is equipped with a twin speed transfer case, which is amazing if you want to get stuck in certain areas. There's this option, look at that, it shows you the tires but also around the vehicle, so that way you have better visibility of the front. There's a towing option as well. There's a lot of features in this car that are designed for off-road and the country drive, so that way you don't get stuck. There is low traction launch in case if you're stuck in certain areas. The first thing you want to do is the instinct is to drive fast, but with this option it will help you to get from that sort of situation. I love how this thing is designed, and most importantly, this does have air ride, which you can change the height of the vehicle, so that way it gives you better ground clearance, and each mode changes that height as well. When you try to get into the BMW, the first thing you notice after coming off the Defender is how much lower this thing is sitting. In fact, if I'm standing, you can't even see my face, but you don't have to do that with a Defender because it's sitting so much higher off the ground. It actually feels like a sedan a bit, or like an X5. You jump inside and you are welcomed by this beautiful ambient light. I think BMW does the best ambient light in the market, there's no question. This model is equipped with that X7 light on the dashboard. It says X7, the arrows going the other way around it. We have a massive 14-inch screen over here in comparison to the one that you have in the Defender, which is an 11 point something, but they do the job great. The model that we have has the curved display because this is a 2023 model. And here are some of the features that you're missing in the Defender, the one that we have for today, the X trim. First of all, this is equipped with massage seats, and you can control the second row seats from here. You have the buttons right on the side. Pretty nice. This has cup holders, and let me quickly show you. Let's say I had my smoothie in the morning and I want to keep this nice and cool, although it is -3 out there. You shove it right in there, you press the buttons over here. It has heated and cooling for both sides. Comes pretty handy. It's kind of like that refrigerator that you get in the Defender. The only difference is that this heats and cools. The other thing is that this has air ride as well. You can adjust the height from here, similar to the one in the Defender. But one thing I love about is the design of this. It feels a bit more luxurious and a bit sporty at the same time. The BMW also offers self-parking mode. It will basically record the place that you park, and it will park for you when you get to the same position. Comes in handy. Most people, I'd say, are not going to use it. The interior color for this model is called Ivory White Merino. Just something to keep in mind. And that, of course, it has the BMW Individual. In terms of the driving modes, this doesn't have the same expanded driving mode that you find in the Defender. This has Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, and it does have downhill assist, but it doesn't have any towing option as the one in the Defender. The next question we want to know is, how do they drive? Let's go for a spin. The Defender 130 in the US can be purchased with the P300 package or P400. In Canada, it only comes with the P400, so it technically is a 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged engine, MHV, which is mild hybrid, and it makes 395 brake horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. It uses an 8-speed automatic transmission, and most importantly, it is all-wheel drive. It will do 0 to 60 in about 6.2, 6.3 seconds. Another thing to notice with the Land Rover Defender is the fact that it offers a twin-speed transfer box. It's amazing because you can change the speed when you're stuck somewhere. If you want to have it at low traction, well, that comes very handy. And it uses electronic air suspension system with adaptive dynamics. Now, both vehicles have air rides, and both offer the option to lower the lower back side if you want to get access to the trunk area. There are buttons in the back that you can use to lower or raise it, which is very handy, especially for both vehicles. The other thing is that the Defender does have heated seats in the third row. That's very important. One thing I have to say, although the BMW has full powered second row and third row, when we were shooting the video, it took so long for those things to fold. Now, if you watch the video of me folding the seats manually, you can see it's pretty quick because you just pull, 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 and then push, push, push down. The only thing, you just have the headrest that you have to basically manually fold them. And that's where the question becomes, is more tech better? It's just one of those funny things. We were laughing as we were doing both of them, and it took so long for the BMW. Fold forwards, move the seat in the front forwards. It's nice to have them, but speed is better with manual. Although it's not the same thing with 6-speed manual transmissions, but in this case, the faster one is the one that actually has manual control instead of the powered one. This is my second time driving the Defender, and here is what I think about how this thing feels. It's so much higher off the ground after jumping from the X7. Visibility of this thing is great. This camera at the top, it's spectacular. More companies should offer that because it's such a huge help. For this, for example, the headrests are completely up. In this case, I can barely see, especially because I have the spare tire all the way there. I put that, fantastic. It works, and I hope companies start introducing this more and more because it comes in handy in many cases, especially 3-row SUVs. I love this two-tone interior in this car. I love the tech features. It has pretty much the same as the BMW, minus some things here and there that this offers. This thing can be an insane off-roader. Right now we're driving on 22-inch wheels, which is crazy. In the US, the base model gets 19-inch, meanwhile in Canada, the base model offers the 20-inch wheels. The ones that we have now, 22, blacked out, looks pretty nice. It really gives a presence and also raises the vehicle a bit off the ground. The towing capacity is another feature to talk about the Defender. See, the Defender can tow up to 8,200 pounds. Meanwhile, the BMW, the X7 40i can tow, well, about 5,400. The M50i can tow about 6,000 pounds or so. And for people that want to tow and constantly tow a lot of things, if they go to the cottage, if they have a boat, that's pretty useful. The BMW X7 40i uses a 3-liter inline 6 48 mild hybrid as well. It is turbocharged and it makes 375 brake horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque, and it uses an 8-speed automatic transmission, all-wheel drive. In this case, it's running on 21-inch wheels, and it does use active 4-wheel steering. 0 to 60, BMW says that this will do in about 5.8 seconds. But if you know BMW, well, let's just say that might not be right. This could do it probably at, say, 5, 6. Quite impressive for a machine that weighs over 5,000 pounds. It's about 200 pounds less than the Defender. The other thing is that this uses an adaptive 2-axle air suspension system that can be adjusted from inside, and of course through the tailgates if you need to decrease the height of the rear end so that you can get access to the trunk. I love how this thing drives. Here's the one thing that I noticed with this. You're not sitting too high, but not too low. It doesn't feel like a 3-row SUV until you look back and you realize that there are 7 seats in total, 3 in the middle, 2 in the back. Visibility is great all around. Even the 3rd row doesn't impede the windshield located at the back. You can still see it's very clear. The road noise is amazing. You don't hear much of that. It's very well isolated. It's comfortable. You just want to chill in here. But here's the difference that I think is very important to notice between the two of these. When you get into the Defender, you throw your phone, you throw your jacket, your bag, it doesn't matter. You're not worried you're gonna scratch it because it's like made of rubber all the way around the dashboard, the center console. It's kind of like a workhorse in many ways. The X7, on the other hand, it's more refined, more luxurious. So you're kind of like worried, oh my God, I'm gonna scratch the dashboard, I'm gonna scratch the middle part. You're just worried about that little thing, specifically with this ivory white interior that this X7 comes with. You're just worried you're gonna get it dirty. I don't feel the same for the Defender. Now let's talk about the pricing. What are you gonna pay for each model? And we'll talk about US and Canada. Base model P300 130 Defender in the US starts at $68,000. Meanwhile, the BMW X7 base model starts at $77,800. That's more than 10K. More than 10K difference. The reason is very simple. In the US, you get a different setup of wheels in comparison to the BMW, and you get some extra features with the Beamer, hence why it's a bit more expensive. So the wheels that you get with the BMW are the 21-inch wheels, and I think with the Defender you get the 19-inch wheels. So that's one, and you also get extra features on the inside. In Canada, the base model X7 40i starts at $108,000. That's the base model. The Defender starts at $93,000. That's for the base P400 SE. Somehow we don't get a P300 in Canada. There's going to be a V8 130 Defender, similar to the BMW X7, which does offer a V8 as well, twin turbo, but the same engine I believe used in the 110 and 90 will be available for the 130. But so far I couldn't see it on the website, and that probably is going to be a lot more money. Absolutely love that car. The models that we have for today's video, the X trim for the 130 starts at $113,000. The X7, the one that we're testing, it's at $130,000. That's a huge difference, and they're almost similar on tech, minus the little things like the 3 rows that are fully automatic in the X7, but as you saw from the video, pretty annoying. Conclusion: which one would I pick for myself, or which one do I love the most? I'll make it short. I love both. I can't tell you that this is 10 times better than the Defender, or the Defender is 10 times better than this. It's one of those cases where you can't be dead on 100% that yes, this is a great one, this offers more tech features. Although they may serve the same customers that are looking for a 3-row SUV, it all comes down to your taste. The X7 is that city drive, but you can still go to the cottage, not too crazy area. The Defender, it's your English countryside hunting workhorse machine. That's what the Defender is. And with those exterior packages that it offers, it just makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, hence why they love them in the UK. If you have a cottage and you have pets, you're sort of like semi-retired, but you're basically around your grandkids, or you still have kids living with you at home, the Defender will be a great machine. And I love how that thing drives. I love how it looks. The X7 is for that person that is looking for a luxurious 3-row SUV for the city drive that may or may not go to the cottage of some friend once in a while. And this is probably capable, but the Defender gives you that confidence that I'm ready to take on anything. If I'm out there in the forest, it will do. Or the other thing is that if you need to tow a lot and this doesn't, well, satisfy your needs for towing, the Defender would be a better choice. For me personally, sitting right now, I think if I had to pick, it would be the X7. I don't need that kind of vehicle that Defender has, and I also use my car for a camera. So the Defender has that spare tire, that means that I have to take off the spare tire. So some of the things I would have to like compromise, and I don't feel that I need at this point the Defender. I think the X7 will just do. I love both, no question. I love both very much. They're very similar. I would say this would just do the job for me. And I think that's what it comes down to end this video. Which one do you like personally?